The 2011 FIA World Touring Car Championship kicks off at Monza in Italy. The first two races in the European campaign under bright spring sunshine. Last year, race 1 and 2 won by Rob Huff. Race 1 here won by Yvan Muller as we get ready for race 2, who will be on top of the pile here for the second race in Italy. Hello everybody, Martin Haven and Matt Neal ready for coverage live of our second race in the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Cars heading out to the grid after the 15-minute repair time. And Matt, in some cases, a lot longer taken to repair the cars, with the resulting penalty of being dropped to the back of the grid, engine changes and various other things going on. Brake pad changes as well on all the Seats, and that's an indication of how hard it is to get these cars stopped from such high speeds here.
Yeah, this weekend First Blood went to Seat and Gabriele Tarquini in qualifying, but then Chevy overhauled them in the race, and Yvan Muller took the maiden victory. So Tarquini ran into brake problems in the latter half of the race, but he just didn't really have the raw speed to keep up with the Chevys and press them all the way. But give him some new brakes on and give him a fresh set of boots and everything, and we'll see how he goes in this one.
Well, look, it's a very pleasant afternoon, 15 degrees. Temperature is going to drop very soon because the sun's behind the grandstands already. Track temperature 22, should be no problems with cooling. Tyres all survived the slightly longer race distance in race 1. Shouldn't be any dramas here in race 2 either. But it was a very dramatic race, lots of action. There's new cars, new teams, new engines, new drivers, all sorts of new parts to the equation. But it was the same names out front. It was Rob Huff, it was Yvan Muller, who were first and second in the championship last year. It was Gabriele Tarquini who was third. They were the guys that were battling to win this first race. Now they start at the back of the top 10 because the fastest 10 cars in qualifying 2 make up the top 10 in race 1 and race 2, but they're inverted. So they've got a bit more work to do in the second race.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the second race is where the experience of the older hands really counts, and you'll get the likes of Tarquini, Muller, Huffy, Menu really sort of pressing on and coming through. And Menu had a rough race in the first one. He just seems to be the way he is at the minute, or the last year or so. He just, whatever he does, he's got the speed and everything. He just seems to turn the corner and things happen, you know, adverse for him. So I don't know,
yeah, Alexei Dudicalo had a problem with the car. It died, electrical failure in race 1, and he's left the pits, and it's now died again. I understand that Pepe Oriola is also having problems getting his car fired up. Gabriele Tarquini heads out. Fresh discs and pads. So Matt, this outlap is really important for him because the first time he calls on them in anger will be down in the first corner here, and boy, that peddler better respond because he's going to be, you know, 6 or 7 cars back from the corner.
You see them, they're all just doing a quick practice start at the exit of the pit lane because the start is so critical, but they'll all be bedded, all the pads will be matched to the discs and everything, so they'll know roughly what it is, but he'll just sound them out and just give them a quick warm-up, get some heat into them on this outlap, and if they don't, they just give another tour through the pits and have another lap at it.
Norbert Michelis starts on pole position. You can hear the Hungarian Barmy Army in the grandstand right alongside him. You can see the flags and hear the air horns, and now his Zengo Motorsport team have a double Hungarian element. Gabor Weber has joined, who's been racing in the Seat Leon Euro Cup the last few years, where Norbert himself started, and in fact they've bookended the grid because Gabor Weber's had to take the car out of Parc Fermé. He'll start down towards the back of the grid, not quite on the very last row. Norbert Michelis on pole from Alexei Dudicalo if he gets there. Alex McDowell, third place for the young British privateer. He was second in the independence category in race 1, in the top 8 overall. Pepe Oriola, he won the independence first race. He starts 4th ahead of Tom Coronel and Ricard Rydell. Then Alan Menu, Rob Huff, 7th and 8th. They were 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 3rd on the grid, and 9th and 10th. First and second in the first race, Tarquini and Muller. Oriola's car still not going. From 11th on down, you start both races in the same position. Unless you take your car out of Parc Fermé because it needs major attention, then you get dropped to the back of the grid. So all these other cars are in the positions in which they will have started race one. Gabor Weber started race one in 12th place, had to change the engine. He had to take his car out of Parc Fermé. So too Mehdi Benani, so too Isaac Tutumlu. So they have all been dropped to the back of the grid. But for Dudicalo, well, it's a shame because he's really come on in his driving. I mean, that's been very evident here at Monza right from the start of practice. And to have a car just go bleh, everybody knows what that feels like. An electrical failure, you know, you can't find where it's leaking out.
We've all had it, and it's very frustrating. I mean, especially because he'd had such a cracking race. I think he was in one of his, you know, for an out-and-out first race with a legitimate grid, he was in his best position. 5th
place, absolutely. You can't take that away from him. He was having a really good race.
Yeah, very frustrating. But you know, if they can get him back to the pits, whether he can get it started and get a go, but it's not looking good at the moment.
Well, Ivan Muller, man on the outside the front row of the grid after qualifying. In the first start you're looking at in the inset, followed Gabriele Tarquini into the first corner. And in fact, both Muller and Tarquini gave away the race lead to each other twice. Huff and Menu colliding there. A little bit unfortunate. Tarquini trying to hang on to the lead, lost the car. Muller was in front. Muller then managed to outbrake himself at the chicane and had to hand the lead back to Gabriele Tarquini. Rob Huff moving up from eventually he went down to 12th place, I think, and then managed to work his way back up to second. And Alexei Dudicalo, we are hearing again from the pit lane, it is an electrical problem for him. Pepe Oriola, if his car starts, will now have to start from the pit lane. The pit lane is closed. First round results there on the screen. Yeah,
Martin, I just heard he got an electrical. It just won't start at the moment. So
absolutely. Well, it died on the in-lap, which is never a good thing. Either it's out of fuel, which of course they will have refueled the car, and it didn't start. Okay, it wasn't fuel. If it's not fuel, and there's no mechanical bits on the floor, it's only electrics, and that's not good news because it takes a lot longer than 10 minutes normally to diagnose an electrical problem. And he will line up in 8th position on the race 2 grid. Pole position man, the orange and black car you're looking at is Norbert Michelis, and alongside him there is a hole. It should have been Alexei Dudicalo. He now will not start. And behind him on the grid in 4th place should have been Pepe Oriola. And even if he makes it to the end of the pit lane, which he has not yet done, he won't start on the grid. So 2nd and 4th are empty, which means Norbert Michelis, Alex McDowell and then Tom Coronel line the stern on the left-hand side of the road, have nobody beside them at the start.
It also means Ricard Rydell on the 3rd row on the inside has got a clear air right the way down to the first corner.
Yeah. Well, you say that, however, Tom Coronel in a BMW behind Alex McDowell in a front-wheel drive Chevy will undoubtedly jink to his right into the gaps alongside to try and get by the Chevy, because the BMWs, as we know from a standing start, get away better. Oriola's bonnet is down, but the car is still in the air. In the door there, you could see Javi Villa, who is with the team, because he's not racing yet this season. And Tom Coronel, look, there's lots of gaps on the grid beside him. That is just, he must be rubbing his hands with glee here. Norbert Michelis in the BMW, unless something drastic happens, will lead into the first corner. Coronel will be looking to get by Alex McDowell. Don't forget McDowell, his first race weekend here. No Oriola there, because he's in the pit lane, and no Dudicalo on the front row because he's at the side of the track. So
yeah, I guess Coronel will be thinking, how quickly can I try and make a break before the Chevy steamroller starts rolling?
Absolutely, because right behind Tom Coronel, you're right, you know, beside him there's 2 empty rows, but behind him there's 2 rows packed solid with blue Chevrolets. So yeah, there's a lot to be done. There's Richard Coleman, the boss of Bamboo Engineering, beside Alex McDowell on the grid. 2nd row for them.
He's just proving your theory. He's reading his iPad in the sun. So
yeah, well,
you're asking about.
Well, yeah, he's casting a shadow though on it, so you have to do that, yeah, otherwise you get the glare. So I talked to Alex after the race, and I said, "How was that then?" He said, "It was remarkably quiet. I mean, he was in the middle of a very frantic battle, but look, not a mark on the car." He said, "In British Touring Car Championship racing, often you're quite lucky if you get to the grid with all your wing mirrors still attached." So
what you're trying to say.
I think he's just found exactly what you told him to expect, which was a lot of very fast, very professional racer. Woo, there's Alexei Dudicalo, and that'll be the last we see of him in action, I'm afraid, this weekend. As we get ready to clear the grid, again, Norbert Michaelis hasn't quite nodded off, just little quiet moments of focus.
He'll be collecting his thoughts, going through the start procedure, going through all the possible scenarios he's going to get at the first corner, thinking his way around that first lap, thinking what he's got to do with the car, warm it up, get the brakes warm, tyres warm, go through every issue he can.
And the grid girls are a bit wasted on him, I'm afraid. He's got his eyes closed in contemplation. Green flag waved by our race director Miroslav Bartok, and away go the field. Little bit of wheel spin, put a bit of rubber down on the road, and then try and line up on your grid spots. Try and make sure that you keep the heat in the tyres as well.
What's his dash going red? Looks like he's got a
little warning. Maybe it was just warning he didn't have enough revs on or something. Yes, it started green and then went orange almost immediately.
Which normally means it's normally bad.
Yes. That's the equivalent of having the bright orange warning light on the dashboard that you used to have in old cars. Little gear indicator on the top right-hand side of your picture on the top of the dash. Second gear through the first corner there for Gabriele Tarquini, up to third as you sweep round the Curva del Biasone, or Curva Grande as it's otherwise known. And it's Norbert Michaelis in the orange and black BMW who leads the field round. Alex McDowell will line up behind him, third on the grid. Tom Coronel in the BMW will be fifth on the grid. And then 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, to the disappointment of these guys, none of the Chevys are missing. So they'll all be there. 10th place will be that red and white Seat. Richard Coleman, his driver on the outside the second row, inside the second row of the grid, lining up third. Of course, he's had drivers on the front row before in reverse grids. Darrell Young last year, a number of times up at the sharp end of the field for race 2 starts. Again, Alex understands very clearly that he said, you know, when Alain Menu came knocking in race 1, Matt, and wanted to go by, let him go. Yeah, because it's all about the independent trophy, and you're not going to score anything, and you're not going to make any friends in the paddock if you end up deliberately impeding other drivers.
And he should know that. I mean, Menu would have been on a bit of a mission, so if he can let him through, drop him behind him, you know, he's going to be learning an incredible amount. He's still a young chap, so.
But the other thing, of course, was Alex was in front of Menu, but with a big gap to the car in front of him. So you let Menu go by, bingo, free toe.
Yep, there you go.
He's thinking all the right things.
There's your drafting buddy, and if Menu can make the holes, you just follow him through.
Yep, absolutely. So 10 laps of the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza in front of them. On board with Gabriele Tarquini, lines up on the 10th grid spot.
Now going back to the Chevy internal politics, this will be Huffy's going to be looking this as a big opportunity, starting a row in front of Muller, and he's going to want to capitalise. He's going to need to capitalise on that. You know, he wants to sort of stamp his mark of equal speed and panache in the Chevy internal politics, and sort of stay with him on the points scale.
Well, I think he's pretty much comfortable in his position within the team, but you're absolutely right. He doesn't want to go away from even race 1 and 2 trailing in the
They are all the same, but it's the internal, you know, unwritten thing that
it's how you feel compared to how you think your teammates feel, really.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, there's Alexei Dudicalo back with Jaime Puig in the yellow jacket and the Seat Sport engineers. And he's made it back, well, a long time before his car has, but even before Norbert Michaelis and the rest of the field start to form up. So he'll be watching from the pit, well, from the garage, in fact, his teammates, the Lukoil Seat of Gabriele Tarquini, who will start this race in 10th place. And were Tarquini to somehow manage to engineer a second podium of the weekend out of this, that would be some heck of an achievement. So we lost a couple of cars. Darrell Young's car caught fire in morning warm-up, didn't start. And Dudicalo and Oriola now starting from the pit lane with electrical problems. And Dudicalo will not take this start either. Sun is dropping behind the grandstands as we get ready for race 2 of 24 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship 2012. Mehdi Benani and Isaac Tutumu complete the grid. Revs rise, red lights are on, watch for the BMWs, away they go. Tom Coronel has predicted, oh, and a dreadful start by Rickard Rydell. Rob Huff's gone around one side, Menu gets away cleanly, and Stefano D'Aste launches, so too on the inside, picking up positions. He's gone by Rydell, he's challenging Muller. Look at the white BMW 5-6 cars back. That is Franz Engsler. Made a good start, didn't get by his Chevys and Menu sideways, but a great start by Stefano D'Aste to get up to third, fourth position as Alex McDowell got dropped back to third spot. It is the BMW of Norbert Michaelis who leads, and Menu already smoking with the bumper rubbing on the back of that rear tyre, and Muller and Huff side by side, and Muller and Menu side by side led to big dramas last year. Tarquini's pushing Muller through and trying to keep Huff out, and Huffy gets his nose in front of Gabrielli.
That was a bit close for comfort with the old Chevy team. It's just, let's hope Menu's tyre can hold out, but that was, I think that was coming together with Huff again, wasn't it?
I think it might have been. Michaelis leads from Coronel, BMW 1-2, McDowell third, D'Aste fourth, so 3 of the top 4 cars are independents. Here comes Muller on Menu, and again, Alain Menu not quick on the opening lap, and that leaves him open to attack. And down into the Ascari, Menu's on the inside, and he's not giving way to Muller. Muller's going to have to be superbly brave around the outside, and just can't, even he can't see that happening. And so Menu keeps his nose in front. But again, Matt Neal, you've said so many times this weekend, looking at cars, especially through that chicane, the back of the Chevy is bouncing around all over the place.
Yeah, Menu's car just looks so loose through there, but all the Chevys have all weekend, but Menu's especially now, whether he's gone up for a setup to give him a better tyre degradation for the latter half of the race, which is going to make it lively to start with. Looks like Muller's going to try and get the cut back on him.
Well, he defended so deep, he can't possibly have the speed coming out there of the Parabolica Alain Menu. So Muller goes by, Huff and Tarquini are lining up. Menu's getting hung out to dry, just as you would do on a super speedway in a NASCAR race.
Yeah, Menu's got to be careful here because
there's nowhere for him to go. They're all on the inside. And look, the toe, Huff is up, you know, he's bump drafting Muller at that stage and gets into the back of Muller under braking. Muller tries to brake early to avoid compromising them. Tarquini sideways, and that is the first big question that John Cleland, the driving standards driver, will have to try and sort out. Tarquini's got a left front puncture. He is out of the race.
Oh, now it was that little bit of, I almost thought it might be a little bit of gamesmanship off Muller there. Brake nice and early, so they're going in side by side and a bit compromised, and you get a clean line out. So I think the braking early might have just caught Huffy out.
And that is exactly what Huffy will say. He's not going to say, I punted my teammate off at the end of lap 2, at the beginning of lap 2 rather, that's for certain. But Tarquini with the puncture is out, and where is Muller? Oh, and Charlie New is out as well. Tarquini has got no further than the exit of the first chicane. Meanwhile, Norbert Michaelis, the orange and black car, leads. Coronel second, McDowell third, D'Aste fourth, and Muller is in fifth.
How's he done that?
Well, because he shot through the chicane, didn't he?
No, backwards.
Well, whatever, he was coming through faster, and Menu's still there, ahead of Huff. So Huff lost out most of all in that. Was it Huff that was backwards?
Huff went across the Menu, went round the chicane properly. Huff went sort of over the sleeping policeman.
Maybe Rob's given a space back then to Alain Menu. Meanwhile, looking at a change for the lead potentially. Coronel's going to go around the outside into the Parabolica. Norbert Michaelis has got too much speed, but Michaelis is towing them along, and now the group behind are catching fast. But the gap back to Muller is going to drop right down from D'Aste in fourth to Muller in fifth.
Now can he pick up the toe up here into...
He's got a good toe. Look, he's almost up behind the bumper. He's pushing along Norbert Michaelis now, and in fact they could probably do with doing that for another couple of laps to try and stay away from Muller. Yellow flags are out, no overtaking. They're going to drop back into line, and that is because Gabriele Tarquini's car is being towed out of the way. Alex McDowell in third place in that red and white Chevy. He's having a really great weekend, isn't he? Fourth place, Stefano D'Aste. So McDowell second in the Yokohama Independence category in race 1. D'Aste is behind him now. They are second and third in the Yokohama Independence. And you saw the Roal pit wall watching Tom Coronel. Coronel would love to win this. I wonder who wants it more, Michaelis or Coronel?
For either of them, they've got to get the skates on.
Or Muller.
Muller's on his way.
Muller. Leader's last lap, 2 minutes 0.7. Muller's last lap, 1 minute 59.2. Matt, that's 1.5 seconds quicker, and a mistake there. We're on board with Tom Chilton. And where is he? He's behind Barlacy, so Chilton has dropped all the way from 10th down to 19th place. That sounds to me like an incident. Tarquini's car with a puncture. Oh dear, that's not good news. The two Look Oil teammates right beside each other.
Dasty's going to have his mirrors full.
One just would not restart. Said nothing would make it go again. It was perfectly okay. It's had a stuffed door, but drivable, perfectly okay. Couldn't get it to go. On board with Muller. That's the lead quartet right in front. And of course, Ivan is now picking up a tow from all four of these cars. He'll get sucked along by them. He'll be quicker than any of them. And he's going for it again. McDowell is defending hard. He stays on the inside, and that puts Daste under pressure from Muller. Daste goes outside. Muller will look inside. Perhaps not there, but perhaps he will. Daste's got his nose inside. That's a good bit of aggressive racing by Daste. McDowell gets a little bit of gas on the exit and just tucks into fourth ahead of Ivan Muller. But he's now got Muller, Menu, Huff. He'll want to let them by, but of course that means that Daste, second in the independence category, will then have 3 blue Chevys between himself and McDowell. There's no question Muller, Menu and Huff will want to get by Daste as well, though. Rydell, 11th, 12th and 13th.
Yeah, McDowell's getting a bit hung out now.
Oh, goodness me. Mehdi Banani in there and Pasquale Di Sabatino hanging on in front of Franz Engstler. This is still for third in the independence category. Independent leader is our race leader, Norbert Michelis. And Matt, with all this manic action, this is only lap 4 of 10. There's still a lot more of this to go.
Look,
here comes Muller.
Huff's fastest lap. That's fastest lap of the day. So he's got the bit between his teeth on here now. 1:59.000. Fastest lap in race 1 was the 59.11 from Ricard Wright. So they're trying to get the power down to the ground, and it's looking for every possible inch of track.
Muller's third, up past Stefano Daste. Norbert Michelis still leads from Tom Coronel, BMW 1-2. And now Coronel really needs to try and get the hurry up. He now sees that Muller is going to be looking at him next. Muller could end up winning both these races this weekend. We've still got half the race to go. Yeah,
with only half distance covered, it's looking pretty ominous here for these two.
And of course, as Coronel and Michelis battle, they're not going as fast as they would do if they were running line astern and just getting on with it. And Muller is now with them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, all in a crocodile.
I mean, one thing for that Chevy is it's exceptional under braking. You know, that you can really see him close up sort of 5-10 meters each time.
Well, this is the start of the race. Coronel makes a great start courtesy of the rear-wheel drive. Rydell, awful getaway, but watch the Chevys. Cars 1, 2 and 3. Tarquini will be investigated. Well,
yeah,
that's on-board view. This on-board view was from Muller. It did look like Huff got into the back of Menu.
Ah, did Tarquini push the back of Huff?
Well, let's have a look. Yes, there you go. And that's what John Cleland will be looking for.
Now, how did Muller do that? He's going backwards.
Well, because he's 100 yards in front by the time he handbrakes it round into the right direction. Ooh, yikes. Well, now that on board I want to see again. And that's Rob and Ivan. Oh, my word. Select first gear, carry on. See, he could have made a great rally driver were he not a single-seater race and a 10 times ice racing champion. He doesn't need to be a rally driver, but I tell you what, Sebastian Loeb might have had a thing or two to worry about if Ivan had gone on the loose.
And we all might have had a thing to worry about if Loeb had been a touring car
racing driver. Yeah, you're not kidding. I mean, you know, he started on tarmac. He could easily have been a touring car driver. Leaders all together halfway through the race. On board with Ivan Muller as he chases Tom Coronel right in front and race leader Norbert Michelis. Muller, the race 1 winner.
That BMW's got good terminal speed, hasn't it? You
yes.
See him pull out in the second half.
Now, look, Coronel's got the best run he's had so far. Muller is going to make it 3 wide. He's going to take the lead as well. Oh, he's alongside Michelis. How does he find extra braking to get his nose back out of that hole that he'd almost got himself into? Coronel third, Muller second now. Norbert Michelis. This is lap 6 of 10. There's Pauline Svart, Tom's girlfriend.
that was good positioning from Muller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got down the inside of Michaelis and somehow found more braking to get himself back out of the way as Michaelis turned in at the apex. That's sensational braking.
Yeah, Norbert's just got to keep a clear head here and just try and focus. It's going to be tough.
This is where you do the Sammy Davis bit in the Italian jobs, where you just rip the rear view mirror off, because if you look behind you, you're lost. All you've got to do is drive the track, and this is when you've got to have that zen calm. It's just about the line, it's just about perfection. 5 laps of perfection, Muller's going to struggle to get by him, except on the straight.
It's under braking he does it. The terminal velocity of the BMW just seems very, very good in the middle part of the straight.
Michaelis again, it's all about line and length, just covers enough as he come up over the brow that Muller can't get a run down the inside. But of course, that compromises both of them. And this is going to be very tense. Look at this. I mean, all the way down to Franz Engstler in 8th. That's that group of cars. One person gets it wrong, we're going to have a big, expensive car park. Muller goes outside. Michaelis goes, go on then.
Oh, that's brave going around the outside of the parabolica.
Oh, had to dab the brakes to cut back, but he has cut back. He's still in 2nd. He's still in the tow. Here we go, on board now.
I could have gone horribly wrong there.
Menu and Huff towing up behind Coronel. Muller goes to the outside, and Michaelis will take this all day long and defend the inside line. Muller's got to get the full length of his car in front and can't. And Tom Coronel defends against Menu, who gets to the apex. He doesn't, but Coronel's going around the outside of Muller. Back up to 2nd place momentarily. Wow, great racing. I thought race 1 was fun.
I was going to say, don't discount Tom at the moment.
Huff's gone by Stefano D'Aste on the last lap to get up behind, and Coronel again saying to Muller exactly as Michaelis does, okay, you want by? Long way for you, my boy. Oh, get out the way! Oh! Too late! Pedestrians shouldn't be on the racetrack. Do these pigeons not know? Oh, and again, Menu into the back of Muller. And now Coronel down to 4th, and Huff all over his back bumper, and in the background you can see McDowell and Engstler battling for 7th and 8th, because D'Aste's got by McDowell. He did that several laps ago. D'Aste, McDowell and Engstler 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the independence category on the back of this little group. What a race! There are other cars involved, but I'm afraid we can't take our eyes off this, as you will understand. Here comes Muller again, and this time he starts earlier. And this time as he comes through Serralio, the left-hander, he's got the run, he's got the place, he's got the lead. And now Michaelis has to defend again. Well, applause from the Ivan Muller camp, as you might expect. Michaelis and the Hungarian Zengo team will be holding their breath now to try and stay on the outright podium. But here comes Menu, and here comes Coronel as well. Menu's got his foot in the door, and Coronel is trying to go around the outside. And Norbert's car is going slower. Is it starting to overheat just from that contact with the pigeon?
Oh, I don't know. Unless he's done something to it. You just say the contact with the bird could have put a hole in the radiator or anything.
Well, suddenly he's not got the pace of the leader, and it's not because he's been beaten or crushed. They're just going straight by him down the straight, and that's not been possible up until now, unless something else mechanical has happened. It certainly made a mess of the pigeon, but it's just possible that something has punctured the radiator, and his temperature might be soaring. Yeah. Well, air temperature shouldn't be too much of a drama. Oh, McDowell's up the inside. This 4-car pack now is 2nd in the Yokohama Trophy. No, it's not. It's for the lead, of course. Michaelis is the Yokohama Independent Trophy leader. McDowell is now up ahead of D'Aste into 2nd. D'Aste's 3rd. Engstler is 4th. Well, let's look at Coronel's pace on this lap, Matt. Is it that the BMWs are somehow running out of tyre in perfect conditions? There's a smoke. No, that's Cecchi. That's Cecchi. That's not Coronel. That's his teammate Alberto Cecchi, and Gabor Weber having a look at Ricard Riedel behind him as Cecchi is smoking. I think that's just a tyre rub. Wow. Muller leads, Menu 2nd, Coronel 3rd, Huff in 4th, then Michaelis, D'Aste, McDowell, Engstler. That's the lead 4 in the Yokohama Independence Trophy as well. On board with Rob Huff in 4th place. to get on the podium. He needs to get by Tom Coronel. Coronel doesn't defend there because Huff wasn't closing fast enough. Muller and Menu, no love lost here in Monza last year, and in Brno and a couple of other places now. Menu is one car away from a win, and McDowell, what happened there on the exit of the corner? He suddenly bobbled, and past him has gone Daste and Engstler.
Menu's got his lights on, he wants his win.
Oh yeah, oh yes, doesn't he though? Let's take a look with McDowell. And Mikulits, okay, into the Ascari chicane. McDowell over the curves on the exit, and huge save. Well held, sir.
That could have gone horribly wrong.
Yep. Well, again, rule one of front-wheel drive cars: when it lands, keep your foot buried and try and get the front wheels to pull you through.
Now, Martin, the curveball in the racing has been so frenetic here. They are marginal on those front left tyres.
Yep.
And with the pace these guys are running at, we're absolutely in the danger area now. These last 2 laps, anything could happen.
Okay, nothing wrong with the BMW's pace. Coronel has just set his personal best lap of the race. So with Mikulits, it's not a BMW problem per se. Coronel is up behind Huff, and Menu is looking for a way by Muller. And do you know what? I think Ivan had better be very careful about where he places his car. A couple of times, Pasquale Di Sabatino ends his race in the pits. A couple of times, particularly in last season, Ivan stuck his nose inside a slightly sideways or slightly offline Menu and left him no room to deal with the problem. And as a result, Menu got fired off.
Yeah,
if Muller's offline, one was here last year. I'd certainly remember Brno as well. If Muller's offline anywhere, Menu's not going to cut him any slack. And that's why Ivan's trying to break away.
Now, historically, the BM being rear-wheel drive, it should look after its tyres better and be a stronger sort of package at the moment. Those Chevys, they're still hanging on in there.
Well, for all the racetracks we've been to where the track temperature's been 45, 50 degrees, and we've heard from all the front-wheel drive teams, oh, we'll have no brakes left after 3 or 4 laps. We've never yet seen where the front drive cars' tyres have gone off so badly that the BMWs just romp in front. What you've got at the start is pretty much what you got at the finish. Lap 9 of 10, 1 to go. Daste is now our Yokohama Trophy leader from Engstler and McDowell and Mikulits. Then Cheki still smoking, then Rydell, Weber and Oriola from the pit lane. Nash in front of Benani, who started on the back of the grid as well. Oriola's progressed well. 12th position, he's in 7th spot in the Independence Trophy. Starting from the pit lane, once they got the car to run, not much wrong with it.
Our Menu's running out of options for Muller now. One was down into that first corner, so it's a limited amount of time here.
That would have been the pass if you could do it. Of course, in the old days of the Monza slipstreamers pre-chicanes, you never made a pass at the beginning of the last lap because everybody would just tow past you at the end of the last lap. Question is, can he do him into Ascari? He can't get him at the Roggia. Muller's got that covered. Can he do him into the Parabolica? Thiago Montero pulls out of the race as well. That's a disaster for him. A wretched weekend for him. Chevy 1, 2, 3. There's a BMW there as well. Tom Coronel hidden by the Chevrolets, but he's there in 4th place. I know. Menu. Like
he's on the limit in that thing.
How the laser beams from his eyesight are not burning the back of Ivan Muller's car,
well,
I don't
never mind
know.
having a go at Muller. He's going to struggle to hang on to it from Huff.
Well, I don't think Huff's going to get quite close enough, but Coronel, he's 4th in a queue of cars. If he gets a good run out of Ascari, he might put his car down the inside into the Parabolica. Now, if Menu gets this exit right, he could still win this race. Oh, and Tom's fighting, and look, immediately the Chevy's starting to pull away. They just land so well over those curbs. And the Royal team, has Menu got it? He's showing his nose. He's not got it. We don't want to see the pit wall. We want to see the race. Muller turns in front. Muller is going to win this. Double race win last year for Rob Huff. With the reverse grid, double race win this year for Ivan Muller. He won race 1, he wins race 2 in Monza. Menu 2nd, Huff 3rd, third, Coronel fourth, quicker than you can say it. Yokohama Independent Trophy win for Daste. Second is Engstler, third is McDowell, fourth is long-time race leader Mikulits. Alberto Secchi is fifth for Roal, sixth is Ricard Rydell, seventh is Gabor Weber, eighth Pepe Oriola.
Wow.
Wow. In fact, 6th and 7th Weber and Oriola in the Yokohama Trophy, because Rydell is not an independent driver.
When Ivan was going backwards into that first chicane, I would have put my house on him not winning the race.
Well, I'm sure he would have put his house on him not winning the race either, but it spun round the right way. I mean, that was the saving of him. He, you know, using all of his years of car control, allowed it to spin round. Stefano Daste, an Italian winner. And don't think that the crowd are unaware of that, because there's no question that the commentator at the track here will have been singing his praises from the rooftops. Well, Ivan Muller, yeah, do you know what? You don't win a championship by luck, but you do need some luck. Look, Gabrielli getting a lift back with compatriot Stefano Daste. That's a nice little touch. Cars on their way back to the pit lane at the end of the first race of the World Touring Car Championship for 2012. And as a second race, rather, end of first race weekend. As in race one, Ivan Muller is the race winner. And he now goes away from here with an 18-point advantage already over Rob Huff, his closest rival last year, and this. Alain Menu, second on the road in the second race. But for Muller, a double race winning weekend. Great start to the series for him. Well, you could barely wish for any more, could you? Okay, pole position maybe instead of second on the grid, but he only missed out on one possible point. So not a bad start.
That's not a bad race. That was a fairly eventful 30 minutes there.
Yeah, very, very exciting racing. Both races here in Monza. I mean, we talked about this actually, you know, after race one, Matt, when we were off air. We've come here with World Touring Car Championship, European Touring Car Championship, before that in the Super Touring era, the World Cup and the races here. You just don't get a dull touring car race at Monza. Nobody gets away, nobody can get clear. The slipstream means that it is overtaking central.
Yeah, I remember when Jimmy Thompson cleaned up with 2 wins for Alfa a few years back, and it was just frenetic time, mega drafting, but just full of nail-biting stuff.
And it started.
Here we go. Oh, I don't know whether Tarquini calls it or not.
Well, Tarquini got into Huff afterwards, but as we picked up that shot, had he already got into Huff, or as we suspected in the first place, erring on the side of caution?
No, he didn't. He was innocent, Tarquini was.
I think Muller's brake lights, I don't know. Again, look, you've got to see when Muller's brake lights come on compared to when Huff's come on. If Huff's come on a fraction afterwards, it means that Muller was, well, you know, if they're visibly afterwards at that speed, it means that Muller did brake earlier than what Rob was expecting. And Stefano Daste, heroes welcome as he wins for Vika Sport in the Yokohama Trophy. Well, Chevrolet 1, 2, 3.
I felt sorry.
What a start for the reigning world champion.
Yeah. As he said in race 1, you know, it took him till race 8 last year to win a race. He's won 2 in the first weekend. It took him a while to pick up speed and maybe a little sting. He's saying nearly broke his arm when he got hit there because he went so sideways. There's Rob and Jazzy. Well, they'll go to the stewards.
Rob doesn't look the happiest, does he?
Well, do you know what? For the drivers, though, going to the stewards' room, it does at least mean that they've got another driver in there in the form of John Cleland who knows what it's about. He really understands touring car racing, you know, as intimately as you do. And so if then they come out and they've been penalised, actually they've got a pretty good choice, a pretty good feeling at least that they were fairly dealt with. Well, let's hear now from our race winner.
Ivan, congratulations. 2 victories here in Monza and a tricky race, that one.
Special. Somebody hit me very hardly. I think somebody forget to break it.
Nowhere. I thought I will finish in the grandstand. Unfortunately,
Well, Van Muller, double race win, whatever else happens. And, you know, it's hard to see him being penalised for braking early for a corner if everybody feels that he did brake early. And I mean, I'm sure, actually, with Robin and Alain right behind, if Ivan was earlier on the brakes than they might have expected, it'll be earlier on the brakes than both of them might have expected. And don't forget, Menu's not under investigation for anything there, because he was on the left-hand side of the track, didn't hit anybody.
Yeah,
he got collected. So
the argument from Muller's side is he was on the inside, so he wasn't on the ideal racing line, so you would have to brake early.
Yep, expecting it to be dirty. And I mean, for you, just one of those first corner racing incidents?
I mean, the fact that Muller's ended up with the win, it is one of those things, and I think it'll just be a going through the motions of see it and, you know, try to behave yourself in the future, boys. So
I think they will also take into account the fact that it is teammates who are battling, and so there's, you know, a little bit of mitigation.
It must have been a bit tense in the Chevy garage at that point.
It might get tenser. In terms of Gabrielli's involvement, I don't see, from what we've seen, I don't see that there's anything to answer for him, because it looked like he just came up into the accident as it happened in front of him.
Unfortunate victim.
Yeah. Muller Menu, 1, 2, 3 in the championship in that order. Tom Coronel 4th, ahead of Gabriele Tarquini. Ricard Rydell in 6th position, but it looks at the moment as if that is a one-off outing. So Stefano D'Aste 7th, an independent, and 8th is the rookie in his first weekend. Alex McDowell is 8th in the championship overall as he leaves Monza. And in the Independence Championship, he's twice been second behind different winners. I'm not sure, he might not be leading the points.
thank you.
Round 2 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship, just as eventful, in fact possibly even more so than race 1. Cars not making the start, and lots of cars not making the finish. Plenty of action in between time. One dead pigeon, several dead engines, and a lot of dented body panels. Coming out onto the podium, 3 Chevrolet drivers. 3rd place Rob Huff, 2nd place Alain Menu, and the race win for Ivan Muller. Been rehearsing that a bit, haven't they? Ivan's girlfriend and his daughter doing the little victory dance there. And of Chevrolet Racing, Eric Nev, the winning manufacturer, and our Yokohama Independent Trophy winner. And this will be a popular win as well. Stefano D'Aste being bigged up by the circuit commentator. He takes the Yokohama Independent Trophy win. So the French anthem for our winning driver and the American anthem for our winning manufacturer. Trophy's being presented by the Senior VP of sponsor Ansel. And if you're wondering what the trophy is, it's marking 90 years of the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. On the left is the map of Monza, the banked circuit and the road circuit, all in all a 10-kilometer track, and the 0 beside it matching the size of the loop of the speedway. 9 at the top loop of the speedway map, and 0 alongside for the 90th anniversary. Monza opened in 1922. 30,000 people built the 10-kilometer racetrack in 3 months. Manufacturer's trophy being presented to Eric Neve of Chevrolet as head of engineering, and the Yokohama trophy goes to an Italian presenter, to an Italian driver, Stefano D'Aste. You think he's pleased with that? Yes, I think he is too. Well, congratulations to all our podium finishing drivers. Don't forget, we will hear from the top 3 in a moment or two. And it's going to take a week or two to wipe the smile off Stefano D'Aste's face. Franz Engstler was second in the Yokohama Trophy. Third, Alex McDowell, who was second in race 1. And the Yokohama winner in race 1, Pepe Oriola, finished in 7th place. Michaelis was 3rd, Cheki 4th, D'Aste 5th, and Engstler 6th. I think Alex McDowell will be our Yokohama Trophy Championship leader after his first ever race weekend in the World Touring Car Championship. Didn't win either race, but he was on the podium in both. You can't argue with that. It's a great start to the season for young Alex McDowell and for Bamboo Engineering. Stefano D'Aste with a win, Ivan Muller with 2. As we said, that now puts him on to 23 race wins in his World Touring Car career. And Muller leads the championship from teammates Huff and Menu. Coronel is 4th, Tarquini didn't score in race 2, so slumps to 5th position. He was the championship leader after qualifying. Rydell's 6th, may not appear again. D'Aste then, top independent. And he's in 7th spot, ahead of Alex McDowell. And that's on overall championship points, not on Yokohama Trophy points. In fact, they're both scored 10 points, but D'Aste with a category win and a higher overall ranking has the nominal advantage there. Could be alphabetical, I suppose, but any number of different reasons why they're on the same points. And so that's a great start to a World Touring Car career for Alex McDowell. Bamboo Engineering driver, just turned 21 in January. Now let's get down and hear from our race winner.
Ivan, congratulations. Maximum points from Sunday. You won that race, but at one point you were backwards on the circuit.
Yeah, I was on any side. I saw the grandstand, then the track, then the other side, then I could bring the car back on the road, fortunately. And then I was worried for the tires, but most of the spin was in the grass, so it was a bit lucky.
You had to work pretty hard to get past Norbert Michaelis. His defending was impressive from both Tom and yourself.
Yeah, he was defending very well, and I think just one lap before I passed him, he hit something, and since that he lose a bit of power, and that gave me the opportunity to pass him.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, there you go. You see, these guys see stuff. How did he see that he'd hit something? We saw it because we were looking at Norbert Michaelis when he hit that pigeon. Well, Alain Menu had to work his way hard up the order, and he came close to winning it.
Alain, you had a disappointing race 1, so did that really fire you up for pushing really hard in race 2?
No, I don't need that, no, do I? It's my job, and you know, I want to do the best I can every time. So you know, the cruise was great today. So it's a shame what happened in the first race, but the second race was good, yes.
The cars, as you say, are so equal. How can you make the difference between your teammates?
It's very difficult because, you know, both Yvan and Rob are very good drivers, so you know, we are all at a very high level. So you know, that's how it is, you know.
And 2012, is this the way you want to start? Is it a good weekend?
No, it's not the way I want to start, do I? I don't want to be pushed by my teammate in that first race, so no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Little quiet, I think, perhaps in the tent after the race. Luckily, everybody's rushing to the airport. Rob Huff, third position after a very busy weekend.
Rob, you still have a smile on your face, but are you a little bit disappointed about the weekend?
I'm always smiling, you know that, Ben. No, I'm pleased with the weekend. You know, we've got some good points. 2 very tough races, was in the thick of it. Yeah, I mean, there was all sorts of things going on, but we managed to survive, and a great result for Chevrolet to get a 1, 2, 3 in the second race.
It certainly was crazy at points. Describe what happened with Ivan down into the first corner.
You know, there was being pushed from behind, from the side, all over the place. We're all in a slipstream, going pretty much faster than we've gone all weekend. And at the point I hit the brakes, I was obviously pushing Ivan down the straight to be quicker, and then I got hit from behind from someone. I think Gabrielli was backwards at that point. Not really sure what happened, but yeah, we all survived, and that's the main thing. Got some good points on the board.
And how do you go from here now to the next race in Valencia?
Yeah, Valencia, it's been a good circuit for us for the last few years. Hopefully it's going to be a great result for us there as well.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers.
Well, again, the video evidence will definitely be looked at by the stewards. They're looking at the incident. Cars 1, 2 and 3. That's Muller, Huff and Tarquini. Stefano D'Aste, the Yokohama Independent Trophy race winner. And Gabriele Tarquini in the end decided against taking the lift back because it was much quicker just to walk back to the pit lane, and probably would have prohibited anybody being excluded. So, Yokohama Trophy, D'Aste, Oriola, McDowell, 3-way tie in the lead, and 2 points behind Engstler, 3 points behind Michelis. Alberto Cerquillo, rookie, 6th ahead of Gabor Weaver, another rookie, and Pasquale Di Sabatino, another rookie. So Alex McDowell is joint leader of the series. Well, some fascinating racing in the opening race weekend of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. A lot of hard luck stories. Charlie New didn't finish either race, and so he'll be hoping for a little bit more fortune. Chevrolet leading the manufacturers' point standings ahead of the BMW teams and Seat teams, and just 4 points between them, so that looks like it could be a very even battle between the two manufacturers at the end of the season. And of course, Ford joining the championship as well with Team Aon this weekend and for the rest of the season. And for them, their first race weekend in the World Touring Car Championship is also their first test session. So they look towards Valencia and a chance perhaps to build on the experience that they've gained. The sun is heading down below the horizon here as we bid goodbye to action-packed Monza from the opening race weekend of the World Touring Car Championship 2012. My thanks to Matt Neal for all his assistance, thoughts and words of wisdom. My thanks too to all the team here on site, and we will see you next time out in Valencia in Spain. Until then, for the World Touring Car Championship, I'm Martin Haven. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time out, 3 weeks for now, in the heat of central Spain for rounds 3 and 4 of the 2012 FIA World Touring Car Championship.